So I've recently been on a nostalgia trip, thinking back to the good old days before it all went wrong. And with this trip, I went back to my love for one of the greatest franchises in history, Pokemon. I was doing all the Pokemon things as a kid. I was collecting the cards before grown men began fighting over them. Wanted to play the games, but my parents never let me get a 3DS. But what I loved the most was definitely the TV show. I loved watching the show. More specifically, Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, and XY. If I had to rank them, it would probably go XY, then Diamond and Pearl, and then Black and White. And today, I'm going to be talking about XY, aka the greatest Pokemon series ever, and the one that felt most like an actual shonen anime, and not a kid show. So yeah, here's my very unprofessional review of Pokemon XY and why it's the best Pokemon series. Now obviously, there's no Pokemon without Ash, so I'll start with him. Now, Ash Ketchum was by far and away the best he has ever been. Ash in XY returns to being an actual good trainer, someone Kid Me genuinely saw as cool. This comes in big contrast with Black and White Ash, where even Kid Me couldn't take the guy seriously. Like Black and White Ash was forgetting to bring 3 Pokemon to a battle, these two can't possibly be the same person. Anyways, between how XY Ash was an inspiration to basically everyone he met, and then to Ash Greninja, this is definitely the best Ash has ever been. Alright, now Serena is the female protagonist in this series, and in terms of female companions, she's definitely my favorite one. And that's because of her relatability. With Ash's other friends like Dawn or Iris, they both already had a dream set in stone. However, with Serena, she started basically the entire first half of XY with nothing. She was forced to be a Rhyhorn racer by her mom, but then left on her journey with Ash. And it was clear that a big part of her character was actually finding something she wanted to do. Her dream. And it was refreshing. It reminded us it wasn't like the picture-perfect world where you already knew your life goals as a damn kid. Alright, next up, Clement and Bonnie. And I'm gonna be honest, I really don't remember them doing much. I remember Clement had his arc with taking back his gym, and his battle with Ash was cool, but other than that, I only remember him for his science. As with Bonnie, I literally only remember her for taking care of Zygarde, and also acting like the little kid that she was. I'm sorry I don't have much to say about Clement and Bonnie, I told you it's not going to be a professional review. But also, some other standout characters I loved were Alon and Karina. And speaking of them, they both had something that really made this show stand out even more. The second reason why XY's peak Pokemon was definitely because of Mega Evolution. It was the first time it was introduced in the anime, and it was just so cool, especially to Kid Me. Even now, I still think Mega Evolution is tough. I mean, you could take an already cool looking Pokemon and make it look even cooler. Any kid would end up loving a show that did that. Especially Mega Charizard X and Mega Lucario, those designs were just perfection. But of course, the best of them all was Ash Greninja. Let's just make it clear, the coolest Pokemon Ash has ever had, and I mean this thing single-handedly made Greninja one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. And I also see some crybabies complaining about how the show focused too much on Greninja. But come on now, who else were we going to focus on? Noivern? Pikachu and Greninja were hardcore backpacking that squad, 2018 LeBron style. I did have one major issue with Greninja though, and that came at the very end. Because why on earth did Ash release Greninja? It made absolutely no sense to me as a kid, and still doesn't make any sense to me now. What was the purpose of this? Why suddenly create a problem that was already supposed to be solved in the final arc with Zygarde? It was almost as if the writers of this series were forcing a Greninja and Ash farewell in the end, even if it made no sense. But it's cool though, every show has its flaws, but this next aspect is near flawless.
It's beautiful!
This is probably a part of XY that almost everyone can agree on, so I'm not going to spend much time on it, but XY had the best animation, hands down. Also, in my opinion, it had the best animation style. It may not seem like a huge deal for some, but if I'm watching a show, I want it to be visually appealing, and the style matters a lot. Especially if you're so used to one type of style like I was. Even though I was still interested in Pokemon when Sun and Moon came out, I just could not get over that new art style. Like, why did we change what was working for us Pokemon? Okay, next up.
Wow, you didn't really do too bad.
Now, the Kalos League. Was it rushed? Yes. It was a shame we only got to see 2 real Ash battles, and it would have been nice to see him at least battle the Absol Trainer. There was also some pretty mid battles like Soida versus Tierno. Like, Tierno was wrong for making Raichu take on a Mega Sceptile, bro. He never had a chance. And there was also Alon versus Trevor, which was just embarrassing.
Okay, time to show off right from the start. Let's get to it, Charizard!
However, it still gave us the best fight in Pokemon history. And I mean, what can I say about this battle besides it was just straight peak? I mean, look at this ending with this golden water shuriken and blast burn. You can't find me another Pokemon fight that did it like this one. Yeah, Ash may have lost, but that's only because Charizard was an absolute unit. I remember being so pissed off that Ash lost when I was a kid, but looking back, that Charizard was fighting Mega Rayquazas, Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, Elite Four Megas, and Champion Megas. As an Ash Greninja meat rider myself, Greninja was never at that level, let's just be honest. Overall, rushed league, but I still like it considering it has the best battle in Pokemon anime history. So yeah, that was my very unprofessional review of XY. It was a show that I grew up with, and I personally believe to be the best show in Pokemon history. Hope you liked the video, and goodbye.